sponsorship or cease and desist. However, things are a little bit different with this one because this actually isn't a true sponsorship. This is our opportunity to kind of give a free sponsorship, if we can, to some organizations that are impactful, important to us. And so with that, we're going to throw up the name of some veteran support organizations here. We're going to talk about each of them. If you do feel like you want to support veterans and different programs, but you don't know exactly how to, other than going up to a veteran and saying thank you for your service, I mean, that's perfectly fine. But there are ways that you can donate with your dollar or with your time to help out veterans in need and their families. And so with that, I'm going to talk about the first one up here, the Gary Sinise Foundation. Gary Sinise, if you haven't heard the name before, he's a famous actor, most notably seen in a movie called Forrest Gump. But at the Gary Sinise Foundation, their kind of mission statement is that they serve their nation by honoring our defenders and veterans, first responders, and their families and those in need. They do this by creating and supporting unique programs designed to entertain, educate, inspire, strengthen, and build communities. Now, how do they do this? They do this through custom home building, educating the next generation or the youth of America by taking them on field trips and things like that, tours to World War II museums, the 9/11 Memorial, so that you can actually see the impacts of war, the impacts of tragedy, and how it affects veterans and first responders, those who are serving. They honor the families of fallen heroes through things like holiday retreats every year for the families of fallen soldiers, to make sure that they don't feel like they're kind of left out if a family member is no longer there. First responder support by giving first responders different equipment and training where they might have a shortcoming otherwise through their current organization. There's the Lieutenant Dan Band, which Gary Sinise headlines, which is a fun band. They go around, they provide free concerts, usually on military bases or military towns, to kind of help support the military, give them a fun night out. They take donations and proceeds and put it into these other sort of organizational things that they do. And then there's the Gary Sinise Foundation podcast, where they host different veterans and first responders who are able to kind of share their experiences and their stories to kind of let people know a little bit more behind the scenes what it is like to be a veteran, what it is like to be a first responder or a family who has lost someone. So Gary Sinise Foundation, something that I personally like to support, one of the organizations that I like to support.
So I'm going to talk about the Travis Manion Foundation, man. This is an organization that, is built on the motto, if not me, then who? And that is a message that when I heard it immediately resonated with me. If not me, then who? I feel like what we're trying to do at the No Sleeves Network is very different than a lot of these other veteran organizations. We're trying to go after representation and give veteran representation from veterans. So, and if not us, who is doing that? So I love their mission, and their mission is to empower veterans and families of the fallen to lead and serve in their communities. Through programs like Character Does Matter, veterans go into schools and mentor young people, teaching leadership, service, and integrity. They also run service projects nationwide, connecting veterans and civilians to rebuild communities together. It's about living with purpose and carrying forward the legacy and sacrifice through action. If you want to learn more about this organization, you can go to travismanion.org. This is an organization I've gotten to know much more about here recently. Had a couple of tabling events at Trunk or Treat and today at the Veterans Parade here in Cleveland. So I really, really love, what this organization stands for. And veterans have, a lot of leadership and skills that they can impart on the youth. One of the reasons I love coaching, man. So I love this organization.
All righty. Next up, we have Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors. So Jared Allen, obviously a player that's near and dear to my heart, one of my favorite Vikings players of all time, just got inducted into the Ring of Honor for the Vikings and the NFL Hall of Fame. But something that I know I've talked about a little bit on this show is Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors. At Jared Allen's Home for Wounded Warriors, their mission is to provide critically wounded combat veterans with the opportunity to live comfortably and independently in specially adapted homes. They're committed to building mortgage-free, accessible homes tailored to the needs of each veteran, recognizing their sacrifices and enhancing their quality of life. Now, a lot of people think a veteran goes overseas and they get seriously injured, lose limbs, legs, eyesight, things like that. They can have a vast multitude of injuries that result from combat experience, particularly with IEDs and things like that, which have just been terrible for the veteran community. And people will think, hey, you come home and the military is going to take care of you, right? Well, the VA's job is to kind of do that, but they don't always provide the best service. There's been a lot of issues with the VA in previous years, and it's getting better, but it still doesn't bridge the gap. There's no way that you can get your leg back. There's no way that you can get your eyesight back. And you still have to try to live a life. And a lot of things come with that, from depression to just issues getting around your home, where it's supposed to be your safe space to live and live comfortably. And so one of the things that there's a lot of organizations that do this, but I wanted to highlight Jared Allen's organization because he's one of my favorite players. I really love what he does. And they will go out there and purpose build a house for you. You can go onto the website and apply and tell your story and show your injuries and things like that. And they will purpose build a home for you and your family that will meet all the needs for your injuries. It could be as simple as adding a ramp to your house or having different ways that make it accessible. Single story living for people who have limbs missing, possibly everything below the waist. Things like that. They are going purpose building homes for wounded warriors to make sure that they can have the best quality life possible and not have to have any sort of money coming out of pocket for that. And so I love this organization. I love all the different organizations that kind of help build homes for injured veterans. But this is one of them that I definitely like to highlight, just in particular because he is a former Viking and one of my favorite players of all time. And I really love what he does.
It's a great organization, even though you are being a little bit of a homer here. It is an absolutely fantastic organization. Speaking of Wounded Warriors, my next one is the Wounded Warrior Project. Their mission is to help post 9/11 veterans like yourself and me, Devo. And they help veterans heal. They help them heal mentally, physically, financially. There's free programs for mental health counseling, career and benefit support, physical wellness, and even family services. Like they run things like the Project Odyssey, where vets can go outdoors for group therapy, adventure-based healing. There's the Warrior Care Network, which partners with top hospitals to prevent, PTSD things from happening. The Wounded Warriors Project is pretty simple, man. They want to make sure the warriors fight. They're not fighting their battles alone. And it feels like at times that's the way it feels. I know after just going through therapy myself, when I started, it felt like I was kind of alone, even though I was going through it with Amber, because it's a weight, and I'm sure you understand that a little bit. But they want to make sure that that's not the case. That you don't have to go through those things alone. If you want to learn more about Wounded Warrior, you can go to woundedwarriorproject.org.
All right, and the last one for me here, the Special Operations Warrior Foundation. This one's a little bit near and dear to my heart because I did spend time in the Special Operations community, so I feel a little bit drawn to this. The Special Operations Warrior Foundation, their enduring promise is to America's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps Special Operations personnel, and to honor the fallen in particular, and all Medal of Honor recipients by providing full education and additional opportunities, a cradle to career or preschool to college opportunity for the children of fallen soldiers, airmen, Marines, and special operators. So they use a comprehensive educational support system that is including but not limited to academic advocacy, preschool and private school grants, tutoring, support for students with disabilities, college readiness programs, full financial assistance for up to 4 years, post-secondary degree, access to colleges, career transition programs, a commitment to covering educational costs of surviving children of special operations personnel whose spouses perish while the special operator is actively serving, while providing a variety of other practical programs and services. They also provide immediate financial grants to severely wounded combat veterans, the ill and injured special operations personnel who require hospitalization. This program was created in the 1980s. A promise basically was made due to, I believe it was 7 or 12, I can't remember which, special operators who died on a rescue mission. A promise was made that they were going to take care of their family, even though that they were going to be gone. And this is kind of carried through this program where, you know, it's one thing that kind of gets lost. Obviously, veterans come back different, right? And that could be in a variety of different ways. But a lot of people don't look at the effects that it has on the family. It's kind of sad to bring up, but, you know, we got a little bit more in tune with it when we went overseas. What happens if I die? What happens to my family if I die? You know, we would have, you know, life insurance and things like that. And there's certain things that happen for spouses and family. But if you're living on base, like, they get kicked off that base pretty damn quick. Like, the military separates the family really quick. And it's a really difficult thing to think about. You're going through probably one of the most traumatic moments of your life, losing a family member. And you have support structures, but it's not as easy, not as long lasting as you would like it to be. And so the Special Operations Warrior Foundation provides opportunities for those families to get a step up in life, whether it's through some of those grants, whether it's through education for the children, making sure that those families are taken care of after their warrior is gone. And that's a peace of mind that, you know, it's something that always kind of stuck with me whenever I deployed, was what would happen to those who loved me back home, that were dependent on me back home. How would my family be taken care of? And it's good to know that there's organizations out there who are kind of bridging that gap for those families.
Man, I did not know about this one. That's a really cool foundation. And I love the idea behind it. When a family member is lost, the family is separated very quickly. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. It's kind of it can be cold a little bit. And I think people feel like it is cold. So having an organization like this that, you know, is helping, you know, at least some people get some help when bad things do happen, is fantastic. So I'm going to talk about my last organization here, Irreverent Warriors. This is an organization that we are very familiar with here at the No Sleeps Network and Raw Dog Sports. We've been very lucky to be connected with this organization for a while. Their mission is one that I love. They want to bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to prevent veteran suicide. It's an exceptional idea. We always talk about buddy checks and those types of things. This is a legit go up and see your buddy check. You get to go out and have a hike. Even for me, as the fat fucker that I am now, getting out there and going for a walk and bullshitting with some people is exceptional. It's amazing, man. And those are the silky hikes, typically around 10 miles. So it's a hike. But man, the connections that you make while you're out there walking, you know, there's all sorts of different things, like bad jokes, music, fucking everywhere, all different types, and people just mingling, having a good time. It's
some drinks, some cigars, some laughs,
drinks, cigars, everything, man. And it's so much fun. They do meetups, comedy nights, social events. Like we've done a couple of different things with them. I love this organization. I'm very happy to be connected with the Cleveland branch. We've also been able to go up. We've done some pro bono photography work for them here in Cleveland and up in Detroit. I'm also hoping to hit Pittsburgh in the near future when that comes back around, because I love this organization. I love going out, taking pictures. I love doing the media stuff. That's what the No Sleeves Network kind of does. That is our mission, is to create media. And if we can create media and do things like that for the veteran community, I love being able to do that. So I love this organization. I'm so glad that we were able to be connected with them and their mission of just getting people together is one that I'm fully in support of, and I think is a fantastic, very simple idea that really works.
Yeah. And look, these are just 6 organizations. There's a ton of them out there. These are just 6 of our favorites and ones that we wanted to kind of highlight, give an opportunity to give up a little bit of our screen time. Obviously, we're 23 minutes into this and we haven't talked sports yet, but it's important to us. And look, if these are your brand, your cup of tea, and you feel like giving them a little bit of your money, we have the websites up there. They're pretty damn easy to Google and find. But if you have something else that you're more passionate about as far as a veteran organization, or you want to look for something else that kind of sits your fancy a little bit better, it's really easy. Get on Google, just search veteran support organizations, and you can start to do a little bit of research as to which ones are most credible, which ones actually put most of their money towards veterans rather than paying their staff and things like that, which is always a worry when you're donating your money. But by no means do you have to stick to like these 6. These are just some of them that we really wanted to highlight and that we feel tied to. But that being said, like, you don't have to. Don't feel like you have to go out and support any of these organizations financially. I know times are tough, but if you want to, there's opportunities out there. And as veterans, it's something that, at least, for me, I feel more comfortable rather than you having to come up and say, hey, thank you for your service to me. Thank others for their service. Some of those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, some of those who are in physical and mental hardships for the rest of their life. There's good ways to give back to those who gave everything for this country. And shameless plug, the least you could do for us as the No Sleeves Network and Raw Dog Sports, you could give us a follow, a like, a share, subscribe to our stuff, and check out the NoSleevesNetwork.com. We put a lot of our content on there. Mike just wrote a new great piece that is up there right now. But by all means, if you want to do just a little something today, liking our video here helps us with algorithms. Sharing this with some friends, letting them know that we're out there, we would be very appreciative of that.
Absolutely. Evo, very well said, man. I don't have anything to add there. With that, let's transition into what I know most of the people who watch the show have come here for. You taking your shirt off. But no, football. We're going to do football. There was